If you're someone who experiences FOMO, fear of missing out, if you're someone who experiences envy, jealousy, if you're someone who's always looking to others, what are they doing? I want to do that. I want that. I want what they want. I want what they have. Then you aren't clear enough on who you are, what you value, and what your win in life is. This is the foundation of having what we call a strong identity. And when you have this, you will stop experiencing those things, and you will actually be the source of FOMO for others. There are two types of people in the world. Some people who are always looking to others, right? Tell me what to think. Tell me who I am. Tell me what's cool. Tell me what's popular. Tell me, tell me, tell me. I need to fit in. Tell me. I don't know. Tell me. And other people are like, hey, this is what's cool. There are the followers, like the trend followers, and the trend setters. Knowing who you are, what you're valuing, and where you're going is becoming a trend setter. It's also necessary for success in life. So what this comes down to is, number one, asking yourself, what do I value? And actually making a list in order of priority of what your values in life actually are. Meaning, what's most important to you right now? Is it money, family, friends, relationships, health, work, legacy, travel? What is it? All of them. Well, yeah, for a lot of people, it's like all of them, right? So that's, again, also the example, like, I want everything in FOMO. You got to make a list. They could all be important, but you got to make a list in order of priority. Meaning, if you could only accomplish one, which is most important? Write it down. Number two, which is most important? Number three, which is most important? That is a freeze frame on you right here, right now. They can change over time, but you right here, right now, what's that list? You got to identify it. Then you must audit your day-to-day life and make sure you are living in alignment to that. So, as an example, this is a client. He put, at that stage in his life, business finance was number one, health was number two. Okay? And we audited his day-to-day life, and the majority of his day was spent on health. He'd have all the health routines. His morning routine lasted all day, right? He's like, I got to do this and this and this, and oh, it's bedtime now. He was going to the gym, doing supplements, cooking, his diet, calculating the micro, macro, everything. That was the majority of his day, and then there was a small little sliver of time dedicated to business finance. And he's like, I just don't feel like I'm just growing. I don't feel fulfilled. Why? Because he's living out of alignment with those values. Hey, if business is number one, that should be what you should be spending most of your time on. Now then there's the fear. It's like, well then how will I maintain all the health stuff I'm doing? Well, you got to be willing to drop that a little bit. It's not as important. Why are you placing it as if it's more important than the business? This will always show you if you're living in integrity or not, having that list of values and then looking at your day-to-day life. It can change, but there should always be one thing you're prioritizing at any point in time. This also links to something that I teach called spinning plate theory, where what people do is they might look at, say, the four main areas of life, right? It's like health, wealth, relationships, happiness, higher purpose, and they try to tackle all of them. Like if I asked you, it's like, who here wants to work on their health? Who here wants excellent health? It's like one, two people, okay. Who here wants excellent finances? Excellent relationships, excellent happiness, spirituality, all that stuff. Everyone's like, yeah. So what we do is we look at all that and then we try to do it all at once. By doing so, you spread yourself out too thin and you fail. Why? Say we take those four, because you're taking 25% of your resources, time, energy, so on and so forth, towards one. 25% towards another, towards another, towards another. On a competition level, you will fail because people who are investing more than 25% will get way ahead of you. So you fail there. But two, it's just not enough to get a certain amount of momentum going. So I link it to spinning plates, where say there's a bunch of plates here, and you've all seen it with this, like the stick and the plate spinning. How are you going to get them to spin? Are you going to take four and do a little bit on all four? No, they're all going to fall. You're going to pick one, and you're going to invest the majority of your energy into spinning one. Then once it's spinning and there's a good amount of momentum, you can stop spinning it for a little bit, right? And it'll still spin on its own. And then you can focus on another plate. Then with that one spinning, you might jump back to this one, give it a couple spins, and now they're both spinning. And then you get a third one spinning, and then you keep rotating between all of them. That's the approach to success. You pick one. Is it health, wealth, relationships, whatever it is? Pick one, prioritize it, and be willing to let the other plates not spin that much or even stand still for a period of time. Get it spinning. Then once it's spinning, then focus on the next one. And always come back to that list of values. And you must prioritize. Okay? There's many periods, if you audit my career, again, I've been coaching since 2010, where I do exactly this. If you've looked through my career, there's going to be times where, even on a health level, you'll see me lose a ton of weight and be ripped. Then you'll see me put some weight on again. Lose a ton of weight, be ripped, put some weight on again. Every single time I looked the most unhealthy was the time my business was doing the best. Every single time I looked the healthiest was when the business was slowing down a little bit. For this very reason. At first, guess what? Opportunity to do this unlocked. I invested all my energy into just business, business, business. Then, okay, it's spinning, let's go on to health a bit. Then the business slows down. You got to be willing to let it slow down a bit. Then once that's spinning, back to business. Okay, then family, relationships, this. And that's the game of life. And there's never going to be a point where they're all spinning perfectly at the same time. It's this balancing act between all of them, coming back to your list of priorities and those list of values. Okay? But you must prioritize things. Trying to do everything at once is the number one way to shoot yourself in the foot. Now, here's another interesting thing. As I mentioned, I have kids, and people have different ways of approaching parenthood. For me, I love being involved in my kids' lives. That's just me. That's something that I value. Family's really high up there. I know a lot of people too, they'll hire 20 nannies and they just do the whole job. Respect to that too. To each their own. But for me, I want to be involved. Now, what does that mean? It means that time-wise, energy-wise, a lot of that's taken up. Now, here's what's interesting. Since having kids, like I said, way less energy, way less time, yet since having kids, I have 2 to 3x my income and success. Why is that? It's interesting, right? You're like, well, wait a minute. You're saying that with less energy and less time, you accomplished more? Huh? Why? You could say stronger why and motivation, and yes, that will play a part. You want to be very motivated? Have kids. For real. Right? People are like, oh, it'll take. No, it's extremely motivating because it's not just you. But although, yes, that played a role, it plays into prioritizing. Where now, as opposed to before where I had, say, all this free time, there was more luxury to not prioritize. More luxury to what we call do productive procrastination. Focus on things that, yes, are getting me ahead, but it might not be the most important things that get me ahead. And this is where you must also audit in your life all the things you're doing. And audit the ROI, return on investment, for every single one of those things. Back in the day, my very first product launch, 2014, working on this product had massive success barriers, massive resistance and procrastination. And anytime I tried to work on it, I'd always find ways to just put it off by doing something else that seemed productive, but that actually wasn't. So for example, I'm working on the outline of this course. I'm sitting down like, if I put this out, this is the fear. If I put this out, it's going to elevate my brand and success, which disrupts my comfort zone, which is scary. So unconsciously, there was a lot of resistance. And what I would do is, you know what? I'm going to work on the outline of the course, but I'm going to take a little break and work on my YouTube header. You know, the picture at the top of YouTube? I need a new header that looks a little bit more professional, right? That'll help the brand. Now, does that help the brand? Yeah. But 0.1%. But sure, it helps it. Does it help it as much as me doing the product? No. That's productive procrastination. You're doing things that, yeah, technically it's productive, but you're actually procrastinating. Now, with kids, it takes away all that time. Oh, I only have this amount of time in a day. Oh my God. How am I going to accomplish all what I want to accomplish? Well, I don't have the luxury to procrastinate anymore. I don't have the luxury to spend time on low ROI activities. I got to be ruthless, and that's what it caused me to be ruthless in my prioritization and doubling down on those key things that yield the biggest result. Right? The same with creating a product. I have a friend who's a personal trainer, and he was asking me, he's like, Julien, I want to create a digital course. I was like, that's a good idea. And he started asking me for advice, like, do you have any advice on good camera gear? And he said, I need the videos to look really good in the course, right? Do you have any advice on a good microphone, good design? I need a good logo, What's all that? Productive procrastination. Is that important? Does it play a role? Sure. Is that the most important thing? No. Most important thing is get the course out there. Shoot it on your phone. No one cares about the quality of the video but you. And you can also audit where what are things that you think is important but other people really don't care about it. Right? If any of you are buying a product, are you like, well, the number one thing that in a product that's important for me is the quality of the videos. Not so much the content and if it gives me the results, but it better seem like it's a movie-like quality. No one cares about that. It's like, hey, just as long as it gets me the result, I'm good. No one cares about the logo. So all that stuff there, although yes, you can do it, it does, like I said, still play a role. It's not as important. If he doubled down on just getting the product out there, results would increase. So that's what it does. It's like, well, better be ruthless in prioritization, find the highest ROI activities, and only do those. And also be willing with not everything to being perfect. Welcome a little bit of chaos in it. You can also notice with perfectionism and control, the more you try to make something perfect, the slower you grow. Control, just slowing the growth. You got to loosen up a little bit. Now, if you loosen up too much, spirals out of control, but it's finding that right balance. Okay? And by the way, another thing that really helped is changing my mindset around work, where with every single thing that I was doing and trying to accomplish, I would always ask myself and try to pass the test, which is, what is the easiest way, laziest way to accomplish the same thing? Don't go, again, we glorify hustle in work. Don't go the hard way. Say it's like, okay, I need to accomplish X result. What's the easiest, fastest, laziest way that requires the least amount for me to still accomplish that result? Not to sacrifice that result to get the same result, but what's the easiest way? Make it easy. And you'll be baffled by how much we overcomplicate everything. Make things way harder than they need be. Easy success, fast success, prioritizing. And then, beyond the values, it's having a clear win. What's your win? What are you actually working towards? What is your goal? And you must make sure that it's authentic. Versus, what do other people think is a good goal? What do you want? What's your goal? Right? The two rules, in my humble opinion, to living a successful life is number one, discover what you love, and number two, design your life to do more what you love. That's success. And the true question or metric to determine how successful someone is or how successful you are in life is, if you look at someone's life, ask yourself, would I trade lives with them? And ideally you reach a point where the answer is no. Now, what does this encompass? It gets you out of just the basic metrics. Someone might look at, say, Elon Musk, and you're like, well, he has all the money, he's successful, right? Is Elon Musk successful? Yeah, everyone's like, yeah. But is he, when it comes to you and your authentic win? Would you trade lives with him? No. Interesting, huh? Now, again, for someone, that might be authentic, and they're like, yes, I would. For him, he might be like, yes, 100% I trade lives with me. I love this. But you got to think when it comes to you. What does his whole, what's entailed in his whole life? Right? Sure, there's a lot of money and accomplishment, doing big things, but then there's all the chaos, the criticism, the stress. Doesn't seem like he is relaxing much. Can't really chill. It's just go, go, go. Is that your definition of success? Right? On the flip side, someone might look at, say, a surfer who's just living on a beach and who's working a job being a bartender at night. Making enough money, but just a little bit, and then just surfing. People might look at that and be like, what a bum. What's he accomplishing? Well, from one lens, sure. But what if that's authentic to him? What if him in his life, he's like, you know what? I just love surfing. That's what I love doing. And then he designed his life so he can just do more of what he loves doing. So you got to ask yourself, what's my ideal life? What's a day in my ideal life? Is it just hustling all the time, being productive all the time? Is there relaxation? What type of friends do you have? What activities do you do with your friends? What's your relationship, family situation like? You got to take all that into account and have a very clear vision. And then that will determine as well what is productive for you. And it'll determine, as we talked about with values and even ROI, what gets you further ahead to that. Right? There was a client I was talking to last week who was like, you know, I have trouble relaxing. I just can't relax. Yet in his ideal life, there's some relaxing. So I told him, you know what's actually something productive for you? Practicing how to relax. Now, what does classic advice say? That's not productive, relaxing, you got to accomplish. Well, it depends what you're working towards. There is no universal productivity. What's productive for you might not be productive for you. It changes. It depends on what your win is. So, it all starts with the end in mind. You're like, well, what's your win? I compare this to going to a vitamin store. Go to a vitamin store, go to Whole Foods or whatnot. Walk down the aisle, pick up any vitamin, any little vitamin, read the benefits. There's not a single one you won't want. Not a single one. They all sound good. Reduces stress, reduces inflammation, good for the heart, good for the brain, good for sleep, good for this. You're like, I want all of it. What happens if you chug all the vitamins? Not good. What's the right way to buy vitamins? Do a blood test. See where you're deficient. Then you know what to buy. Same here. Knowing where you're going is the blood test to show you what is productive, what type of content you should be consuming. Then you're clear. You're clear on what you value, clear on what you're going, prioritizing, making it easy, and no FOMO. You only have FOMO and jealousy when you aren't clear and you don't have that win, and then you're looking to others. Like if I know for a fact, like let's just even take food. Let's just say you know for a fact, if you go to a restaurant, say there's a restaurant you like going to, and there's your favorite dish at that restaurant. Say you go there and you order that dish, and you go with a bunch of friends, and they order other dishes. Are you looking in FOMO at your friends? Oh, I want that. Oh. No, because you know this is what you like. When you know you're on your path and purpose, people could be doing anything else. You're like, nope, I'm good with this. And it means, again, defining success for yourself. Internally, again, setting that trend of success. Another example of this is for myself, in terms of what I love doing, is of course helping people. But another component of everything that I do is I really love editing. For real. That's something I love doing since I was a kid. I played music growing up. I was composing. I was in a band. And I had this program back in the day called Pro Tools where you could edit music. And I would love spending hours and hours doing this Pro Tools thing. I could literally spend like a whole night working on Pro Tools. Technically doing more work than, again, this is in school growing up, than a homework assignment that would take me 5 minutes. Right? A homework assignment, 5 minutes for, say, biology, would feel like so much effort, would require tons of discipline, procrastination around it. Yet working for 8 hours on Pro Tools, effortless. Time would fly by. Objectively, the 5-minute assignment's a lot easier, right, than the Pro Tools. Which, by the way, look for what feels effortless for you. That's your unfair advantage. It's not hustle and discipline. It's when hard work doesn't feel like hard work. No one can compete with that. If you're able to have this relationship with hard work where it feels completely effortless, you can go and go and go. Even think of someone playing a video game. People play video games for hours and hours, and sure, it's fun, but it's also a lot of work. You're locked in, there's time, energy. It's like, imagine you took all that towards real life instead. Why is it that you can work so hard on a video game, but not a basic task in life? Right? You don't need work ethic, you're already doing it in the video game. You just need to learn how to translate that and let go of the resistance around applying that to the real world. But for me, back to Pro Tools, I love doing that. And I knew that was something I just loved doing. Not my main purpose, but it was something I really like doing. So nowadays, even with what I'm doing here and the content that I put out, when it comes to the YouTube videos, I edit all of those myself. All of them. I don't cut the Reels or TikToks and all that, but I'll do the official YouTube videos. When I say this to anyone who's a business owner or in business, they always cringe. It's like, why don't you just delegate that? That's insane. It would free up so much time and energy. You shouldn't be doing that. And Is it true that if I delegated it, I would make more money? Yes, no? Yes, 100%. But going back to what I was talking about here, is that success for me? Because sure, I'd have more money, but then I'm giving away doing something that I love doing. I would rather, I would sacrifice that extra money. Technically, I'm paying money to be able to edit those videos and do that work that I love. Because that's aligned with my values, my win. Part of my win is being able to do some of the editing. It's also in the creative side, right? If I'm doing a video, like recording a song, how you edit the song will determine how it comes out in the end. So it also hits on that. Again, for me, it's really creativity that really runs me too. But for people who are just like, oh, it's just money or this, it's like, no, you got to bring it back to your own values. And you have to be willing to say no. Right? The same as if I were to, we talked about with kids before, say I were to throw 20 nannies at my kids, it would free up a lot of time. And I could actually accomplish a lot more as well, say business-wise. But then on value, it would go against family. So I'm willing to lose out on that to have the win with family. And that's the whole thing with FOMO too, is we're all going to lose out on things. That's a part of life. You just got to be very aware that you pick the most important things to you, and you're willing to lose out on everything else for those important things. Yeah, whatever it is. And also realize that having everything doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be enjoyable. Someone's like, well, what if I could have everything? Think of a buffet. You go to a nice, say, Vegas buffet. Say you go to every stand and you take every bit of food on your plate. What's your plate going to look like? Just a mash of just... That's the solution to FOMO. If I could just have everything, that'd be your life. As opposed to, I know what I want, and I'm going to go and get the stuff that I actually want and enjoy. Same approach to life. Don't do the buffet approach, right? But when you do that, again, there's no more FOMO. I know what I want. I'm going for what I want. I have what I want. I'm willing to sacrifice what I don't want for what I want. And then it's peachy and chill. And again, it can change, so you got to always keep reevaluating it, right? There are phases and seasons to your life. Maybe one where, like I said, family's up here. Maybe later it'll go down a little bit, and I'll focus back more on this other plate and spin it and so on and so forth. But this all comes from you deciding first. And you do that, then you have a very strong frame. Then you also stop comparing yourself and feeling inferior to people who might have accomplished more in other areas, right? It baffles me when people are like, well, how do you network with, famous people or people who've made a lot more money than you and accomplished a lot more than you? Well, you don't get sucked into their frame for what a win is. Good for them. Hey, if part of your win was making a ton and it's authentic, massive respect. If part of your win was making very little, but it's authentic to you, just equally respectful. So when you go up to someone like, hey, good for you, but I'm on my path. We're all on our own unique path. It allows you to be very grounded. So knowing who you are, knowing your values, prioritizing. And then last thing too, also linked to what I've been talking about here, say no to opportunities. So what does this mean? At the very beginning, this is nuanced. You want to say yes to opportunities. If you're at the bottom, you want to say yes, because opportunities are scarce. But as you start saying yes to opportunities and moving up, what happens? You get offered more opportunities. You move up more, there's even more opportunities. And if you keep the mindset of saying yes to every single opportunity at the bottom, screwed. So the more successful you become, the more you have to say no, even to amazing opportunities, and the more you have to be on top of that list of values and priorities. Anything that's out of alignment, no, 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 no. Even if it's an amazing opportunity.